Hello guys! For Jalen Milroe, it's hard to accept that Nick Saban has retired. After all, and for all good Tide fans, who is it? No one really expected this, not Milroe, not anyone, but that's how it is. Let's reflect on this. Jalen Milroe's unconscious admission that Nick Saban would retire has sparked a wave of reflection among Alabama fans, still processing the transition from the legendary coach to Kalen DeBoer. Saban's departure after years of success at the helm of the Crimson Tide came as a surprise to many, but the real impact of this change only began to be felt when players like Milroe revealed that they were not fully aware of the retirement decision until it was made. This highlights the magnitude of Saban's legacy in college football and the difficulty of filling the void left by him. Jalen Milroe, currently the quarterback for Alabama, was candid in acknowledging that he had no idea Saban was going to retire. It's intriguing how, even within one of the most storied programs in college football, one of the star players was unaware of the coach's impending decision. However, Milroe's statement also reveals a mature and empathetic understanding of the situation, making it clear that he respects Saban's decision and is happy for the coach, who is now able to explore other aspects of his life after football. This type of statement humanizes the relationship between coaches and players, something that is often seen as more mechanical and professional than it really is. Jalen Milroe's bond with Nick Saban goes beyond the field of play, showing how the coach, known for his demanding and success-oriented approach, has also built deep relationships with his players. Milroe noted that while players often talk about life after football, Saban's decision to retire and explore new opportunities off the field is something he fully understands. There's a certain honesty in the way Milroe reflects on Saban's retirement. He acknowledges that the coach always loved football, but he also acknowledges that there's life beyond the game. That perspective is a reminder that even at elite programs like Alabama, where football is almost a religion, there's a shared understanding of the importance of balancing the game with life outside of it. Milroe has shown his full support for Saban, both for the legacy he left behind and for the future he can now embrace. Meanwhile, Alabama, now under the new leadership of Kalen DeBoer, is entering a new phase. The big question for the Crimson Tide is whether DeBoer can maintain the standard of excellence that has become synonymous with the program. Milroe and his teammates will play a crucial role in that transition. Adjusting to a new coach, especially after the departure of someone as iconic as Saban, is no easy task. But Milroe's confidence in DeBoer and his determination to continue Alabama's legacy show that the Crimson Tide has no plans to slow down. DeBoer comes to Alabama with high expectations and the burden of replacing one of the greatest figures in college football history. However, he brings with him a new energy and a philosophy that has everything it takes to succeed in Tuscaloosa. The team has already shown signs of being on the rise, and Milroe, as a leader on the field, will be a key part of maintaining that positive trajectory. He has already shown maturity, not only as a player, but also as a true leader, understanding the impact of big decisions and the role he will play in helping his team adapt to a new era. There is, of course, uncertainty that comes with any leadership transition at a program as large as Alabama. However, with players like Jalen Milroe stepping up to the plate and the unwavering support of a passionate fan base, the Crimson Tide has every chance of continuing to compete at the highest level. The Saban era may be over, but the spirit and culture of excellence he built still resonates strongly within the program. Nick Saban's retirement certainly marks the end of a glorious era for Alabama, but it also paves the way for new opportunities and challenges. Kalen DeBoer has a huge responsibility on his hands, but he also has the resources, talent, and support needed to take the Crimson Tide to new heights. And with Milroe leading the charge, the team appears poised to continue its path of success. Tyler Booker's message to his teammates after the win over South Florida was clear: unload and move forward. That mindset is essential for a team like Alabama, especially after an inconsistent offensive line performance that resulted in 8 penalties and 2 touchdowns. Even with a convincing 42-16 win, the number of mistakes caught the eye and reinforced the need for adjustments for the upcoming games. Booker, one of the leaders of the Crimson Tide offensive line, made a point of reminding his teammates, especially left tackle Wilkin Formby, that there's no point in dwelling on the mistakes of the last game. His message at Tuesday's press conference was straightforward: the only thing he can control is how he shows up this coming Saturday. That kind of leadership is crucial to keeping the team focused, especially when facing challenges like those of last Saturday. Despite the early stumbles, Alabama's offensive line improved dramatically in the closing stages of the game, allowing the team to close out the game with a dominant 28-3 run. Long runs by Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, resulting in touchdowns, showed the potential of a unit that, when it finds its rhythm, can be devastating. Booker noted that the schematic adjustments made on the edge of the field were crucial in opening up those gaps late in the game. This wasn't the first challenge Alabama's offensive line has faced this season. Prior to the opener against Western Kentucky, left tackle Caden Proctor was ruled out with a shoulder injury, forcing Elijah Pritchett to take over. The changes continued against USF, with Booker being moved to left tackle while Gino Vandemark filled his usual position at left guard. These continuous changes have certainly contributed to the lack of consistency, but they also show the depth and versatility of the Crimson Tide's roster. Booker was up for the challenge of playing left tackle. Despite this being his first time playing the position in a big game, he had played left tackle in high school and was confident in his ability to adapt regardless of the position. "You can put me at guard, tackle, receiver, wherever you need me. I'm going to play ball, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability," he said, demonstrating the mindset everyone expects from an elite Alabama player. Booker's watchword this week has been elevate. Offensive line coach Chris Kapilovic's philosophy has been to focus on solutions and corrections rather than dwelling on mistakes. Booker noted that Kapilovic has the ability to teach clearly and effectively, which makes it easier for players to adapt, especially after a game full of adversity. "I'm glad we got through this adversity so we can learn from it in the future," Booker said, with a maturity that shows the team's focus on constant improvement. These challenges present an opportunity for growth for Alabama's offensive line, which needs to adjust quickly if it wants to continue its march toward the top of college football. The team knows the bar is high, and mistakes like the one made against USF will not be tolerated in games against higher caliber opponents. However, the ability to recognize mistakes and, more importantly, correct course quickly is what separates great teams from average ones. Alabama, under the leadership of Booker and coach Kapilovic, is determined to turn this adversity into fuel for the challenges ahead. While the offensive line is still adjusting and finding its rhythm, the move-on mentality after a subpar performance is exactly what a championship team needs to stay focused. Booker and his fellow offensive linemen know they have the talent and ability to dominate, but they need to work on the details to ensure mistakes are minimized and opportunities are taken advantage of. With head coach Kalen DeBoer at the helm and a group of players committed to excellence, Alabama continues to strive for perfection. The setbacks faced thus far are a reminder that the season is long and full of challenges, but also an opportunity to strengthen the team in every aspect. Next Saturday will be another test for the Crimson Tide offensive line, and all eyes will be on how Booker and his unit respond to the adjustments made during the week. Alabama football, one of the undisputed powerhouses in college football, has struggled unexpectedly on the road in recent seasons. Under Nick Saban, the Crimson Tide have established a reputation for dominating both home and away, but recently that dominance has shown cracks. Now, the question on the minds of fans and analysts alike is, can Kalen DeBoer fix those issues and restore consistency on the road? The answer will begin to unfold next Saturday when Alabama takes on Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium, one of the most intimidating environments in college football. During the heyday of the Saban era, it seemed like the venue or opponent mattered little. Alabama handled its opponents with ruthless cool, whether playing at home or in hostile environments. There were times when games were closer than expected, or even a few upset losses, but overall, the Crimson Tide rose above the difficulties that plague most college teams on the road. As former Alabama player Damian Square put it, "We run in the house, blow that and go home." That mentality was the essence of a team that could dominate any opponent, anywhere. Examples like the 38-10 win over Georgia in 2015 or the 39-point win over Tennessee in 2016 are fresh memories for the fan base. Games like those underscore the standard of excellence that Alabama has set under Saban. However, that standard has begun to slip a bit in recent seasons as the Tide has struggled more than usual on the road. The warning signs began to appear in 2021, when Alabama nearly lost to a Florida team that finished the season with a 6-7 record. Escaping a potential comeback by having to stop a 2-point conversion in the final minutes was unusual for a team that had grown accustomed to easy wins. A few weeks later, a heartbreaking loss to Texas A&M followed by a grueling battle against Auburn, which the Crimson Tide needed to go into 4 overtimes to emerge victorious in the Iron Bowl. The same pattern continued in 2022, with hard-fought wins like the one against Texas and significant losses like the last-second loss to Tennessee. Those stumbles, while normal for most teams, were not the norm for Alabama. Its road winning percentage has dropped from an impressive 90% between 2011 and 2020 to 79% since 2021. For a program that prides itself on dominance, that's a significant difference. While winning 79% of its SEC road games is an admirable feat, for the Crimson Tide, accustomed to excellence, it's a sobering drop. Now, under Kalen DeBoer, Alabama is expected to return to being the dominant force it once was, especially on the road. The Wisconsin matchup offers DeBoer a golden opportunity to show that he is the right man to succeed Nick Saban and that he can fix the issues that have arisen in recent years. Madison, known for its hostile environment at Camp Randall Stadium, will be the ideal test for DeBoer and his staff. While Wisconsin has a history of struggling against ranked opponents, there is no underestimating the impact of playing in one of the toughest stadiums in college football. However, Wisconsin's recent history against ranked non-conference teams works in Alabama's favor. The Badgers' 1-9 record against top 10 opponents at home provides an optimistic outlook for the Crimson Tide. While the environment will be challenging, Alabama has an opportunity to assert its dominance, something that will be crucial to restoring confidence in its away performances. If Alabama wants to be considered a serious title contender this season, a convincing win over Wisconsin is essential. Even bigger challenges await ahead, with trips to face tough opponents such as Tennessee, LSU, and Oklahoma. These games will further test DeBoer's ability to handle pressure and adjust his team, especially in hostile environments. Saturday's performance in Madison will provide a preview of what the future holds for Alabama under DeBoer's leadership. Kalen DeBoer is aware of the expectations that weigh on his shoulders, but he also brings a new energy and approach to the program. Alabama's fans, known for their passion and demand, will be watching closely, hoping to see signs that the new coach can return the Crimson Tide to the level of excellence they have grown accustomed to seeing for so long. Let's get going! Wisconsin fans are on edge as they approach their Week 3 matchup against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Camp Randall Stadium, traditionally one of the most feared venues in the Big Ten, seems to be shrouded in foreboding, with fans worried that it could be a blow to their hopes for the season. The very idea of facing Alabama, an undisputed powerhouse in college football, is generating a mix of apprehension and pessimism among Wisconsin fans. Alabama, under Kalen DeBoer, enters this game as the favorite, and the expectation is that they can assert their dominance, something Wisconsin fans seem to fear. FanDuel's betting line, which has Alabama as a 15.5-point favorite, reflects the gulf between the two teams on paper. However, that kind of favoritism is just a formality for Tide fans, who are accustomed to seeing their team compete and win at the highest level, while Badgers fans have much more reason to be concerned. The past few years have been tough for Wisconsin football. A once dominant team that has won major bowl games, including 3 Rose Bowl victories between 1994 and 2000, has seen its shine fade. Since 2019, the Badgers have only once surpassed 7 wins in a season. The 2023 campaign ended with a modest 7-6 record, and fans were hoping that Luke Fickell's second season as head coach would breathe new life into the program. However, the first 2 weeks of the 2024 season have given rise to doubts. Unconvincing wins over Western Michigan and South Dakota, both teams considered well below the level Wisconsin needs to reach, have shaken fans' confidence. Against Western Michigan, the Badgers trailed in the fourth quarter, and against South Dakota, the score was just 17-13 late in the third quarter before a late effort sealed a 27-13 victory. These mediocre performances have raised questions about Wisconsin's ability to compete with elite teams. And when it comes to facing Alabama, the concern is heightened. One Wisconsin fan expressed his frustration on social media, saying he was prepared for the worst Wisconsin football performance I've ever seen, a sentiment that seems to be echoed by a significant portion of the fan base. The Badgers' defensive line, in particular, has been the subject of criticism. Badger Extra highlighted the unit's struggles, describing it as an area of serious concern. The fact that South Dakota, a much lower-tier team, was able to run the ball with ease against Wisconsin's defense underscores the fragility of a defensive line that, if it can't adjust quickly, could be overwhelmed by Alabama's ground attack, which boasts a powerful offensive line and talented runners. For Crimson Tide fans, the expectation is for a dominant performance, especially given Alabama's recent history on the road. While the team has struggled in that regard in recent seasons, the Wisconsin matchup appears to be the perfect opportunity for Kalen DeBoer and his staff to show that they are on the right track to restore the Tide's relentless mentality in hostile environments. Alabama has a chance to not only win, but win convincingly, which would be an even bigger blow to Wisconsin fans' morale. Camp Randall Stadium, traditionally a tough environment for opponents, seems to be less of a fear for Alabama this time around. Recent history shows that Wisconsin struggles against big-time opponents. According to The Athletic, the Badgers are 1-9 against top 10 opponents at home, with their only win coming in 1974. This poor record only adds to the pessimism among fans, who know that Alabama is not just any team, but a true football machine, even in times of transition like this. For the Crimson Tide, this game offers an opportunity to continue their upward trajectory under new coach Kalen DeBoer. After an era marked by Nick Saban's success, the new coach has a chance to solidify his standing among Alabama fans with a convincing win over Wisconsin. The team has already shown signs of growth and resilience in the early weeks of the season, and a dominant performance on Saturday would certainly dispel any doubts about DeBoer's ability to keep Alabama on top. Regardless, Saturday promises to be a day of great excitement for both teams. Here's hoping Bama comes out on top. Speaking of basketball, Amari Allen's commitment to the Alabama basketball program is a significant milestone in the 2025 recruiting class and a clear indication that the Crimson Tide continues to attract elite talent. Allen, a highly versatile guard and a top 100 recruit in the country, brings a rare combination of offensive and defensive skills that aligns perfectly with head coach Nate Oates' philosophy of play. This addition further cements Alabama's position as a rising force in college basketball. Allen's announcement to on-3 recruits has sparked a wave of optimism in Tuscaloosa. As Nate Oates' first commitment of the 2025 recruiting cycle, he lays the foundation for a high-quality class that promises to cement the Crimson Tide as a perennial contender for years to come. Coach Oates expressed his excitement about Allen's arrival, highlighting not only the young player's talent but also his work ethic, something that fits perfectly with the culture he is building at Alabama. "We are thrilled to welcome Amari to the Alabama family," Oates said in a statement. His talent and work ethic align perfectly with our vision for the future of Alabama basketball. We believe he will play a key role in our continued success. Allen, for his part, appears to have been won over by the combination of the program's recent success and the dynamic style of play implemented by Oates, which emphasizes an up-tempo offense and heavy three-point shooting. That style fits perfectly with Allen's skill set, who has already demonstrated a soft touch for the shot and the ability to finish around the rim. The youngster also brings versatility to the roster, being able to play multiple positions on the court. Allen's decision to commit to Alabama reflects the program's growing prestige under Oates. "I chose Alabama because of the strong basketball culture and the opportunity to grow with Coach Oates," Allen said. I'm excited to be a part of a program that is on the rise and contribute to its future success. Allen's statement reflects the mindset he brings to the Crimson Tide, a desire to not only be part of something bigger, but also to directly contribute to the team's continued success. His ability to defend multiple positions, coupled with his all-around game, makes him a valuable asset on both offense and defense. Allen's versatility and competitiveness will be a key asset for Alabama, especially in a competitive environment like college basketball, where adaptability can make all the difference. Amari Allen's arrival also sends a clear message to prospective recruits: Alabama continues to be an attractive destination for top talent. With Allen's commitment, Coach Oates is taking the first step toward a promising recruiting class, and that will undoubtedly boost the Crimson Tide's recruiting efforts in the coming months. Alabama fans can expect a bright future as the program prepares to continue its momentum. Allen's commitment not only reinforces the talent on the court, but also solidifies Oates' vision to continue molding a team that will consistently compete for championships. Allen sets a high bar for future recruits in the class of 2025 and will undoubtedly bring with him an expectation of immediate impact when he arrives in Tuscaloosa. Amari Allen's commitment is further evidence that the Crimson Tide is poised to continue its rise in the basketball landscape, with legitimate aspirations of achieving success on a national level. Allen's talent, work ethic, and winning mentality will be instrumental in ensuring that Alabama remains a formidable force in college basketball for years to come. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts.